Voss, artesian water from Norway. Splendidly still or luxuriously sparkling. Voss, artesian water from Norway. Want to learn from Chicago's #1 culinary arts school? Kendall College now offers a certificate training program and individual cooking classes. Go to taste.kendall.edu for more information.
I got to know Stobe through Alain Ducasse. Getting one for the first time and then cooking with it was a wow moment for me. What sets it apart, the construction and durability of it, the craftsmanship that goes into it, the history that goes into it. I mean, it goes back to Paul Bocuse. It's like the Mercedes-Benz of cookware for me almost.
Introducing Groupon's new bookable, time-based offers. Easily book a reservation at top restaurants right on the Groupon website. All we need is a date, time, and party size. Show up for your reservation time, no voucher required.
It's wonderful to have you here with me. It's great to be back at City Winery. Thank you, everybody, really, for coming. If this is your first time, my name is Elysabeth Alfano, and you are at Fear No Art Presents the Dinner Party. So what I do on this show is I invite 3 celebrities who don't know each other and a prominent chef who cooks for us. And over food and drinks and performances, the unscripted conversations flow. It inspires me what you're saying because I thought you might end up saying, I tried to have these shows completely unscripted, so I don't know what he's going to say, just like you don't know what he's going to say. I thought you might say that your show had made you lose faith in humanity, but it seems like the exact opposite.
Oh, no. Look, I used to be in politics. You know. I always joke, this is a step up. No, I'm teasing.
I do have to say that I think politics has to be the hardest job. I think the only thing tougher than being a politician would be a taxi driver. That would be,
that's the other thing I really want to do.
Is drive taxis. Well, that's interesting if you guys have other jobs. What would you do if you didn't do politics?
Oh, I don't know, but I've always thought it'd be fun to be a taxi driver.
That's the worst job in the world.
Well, it depends how you drive.
Yes, right. Well, fair enough. And where you drive. Yes, fair enough.
This is the derivation of the show. When I was anchoring the news.
Yes.
And we'd been doing it for 10 years.
Won some Emmys.
And it was a pretty dominant news show in terms of ratings and all that. And anyway, the company that owned the NBC affiliate of the station in Cincinnati where I did the news also owned talk shows. They owned Phil Donahue, which obviously we all know here in Chicago. Phil Donahue, Sally Jessy Raphael, etc. Well, Phil was getting close to retirement. So the CEO of Multimedia, which was the company that owned the affiliate, took me to lunch one day and said, Phil's getting close to retirement. We're starting another talk show. You're going to host it. And I said, well, I enjoy doing the news. He says, you can do both. You know, we'll fix the salary. So I'd get up in the morning, because we were in Cincinnati, fly to Chicago, do the show during the day, and in the afternoon, fly back to Cincinnati, because I had to do the news every night. And I did that for 2 years. But it was a normal talk show. Boring, but normal. And we had political people on. We had Jesse Jackson on, Oliver North. I mean, it was a normal show. There were 20 talk shows on the air at the time. This is 1991. And they were all trying to be like Oprah, go after the demographic, which at that time was referred to as middle-aged housewives. So
great.
It's not called correct now, but that's what they called it then. And along came Ricki Lake, and she was the first talk show to go after the kids. When I say kids, I mean high school and college age. So we're walking down Michigan Avenue here, my executive producer and me, and I clearly remember the conversation, and I said to him, as a business model, why are we trying to be 1 out of 20 going after Oprah's audience and we get a tiny piece of the pie? Let's go after Ricki Lake's audience, the kids, and we'll get 50% of the pie, and that's a lot of viewers. So we decided to go young. From now on, only young people on stage, young people in the audience, young subject matter. Well, we all know young people are wilder than anybody else, much more open about their lifestyles. So every once in a while, just once in a while, the show got crazy just because of the kids. Then Universal bought us, and Universal, when they bought us, it's in the contract, says you're only allowed to do outrageous. So if you call us with a warm, uplifting story, God's truth, we're not allowed to run it. We're given a list of the other shows we can send it to. We're not allowed to run it. The stations won't air it. We're only allowed to do shows that are inappropriate behavior, outside the norm, etc. So when I go in every day, I know, it's just like if I were a judge in criminal court, I couldn't say, I'm not going to take these people, they're criminals.
Right, of course. Yeah,
So if I'm hired to host the show where every day they're going to give me outrageous people doing outrageous things, then I can't act surprised. I can't all of a sudden take the moral high ground, oh, I'm too good for that. My job is to host the show about outrageousness. And I defy you to watch any one of our shows and say, those people aren't outrageous. They are.
So can we go back to his original comment about how everybody on the show is just the same as him? I'm a little worried that I'm sitting next to him, like the guy with the horse.
Yeah. If you don't have a horse, you're safe.
So do you think the interest in smut has grown? And I would ask this also of the two of you going to Hollywood and then politics.
Politics too.
I mean, it seems that everyone, although
Listen, I used to cover politics, and when I started covering, back in the day, and you remember, and did a lot of political reporting and so forth, and when I started really only doing politics, people would say to me, well, how could you, move from politics to entertainment? I said, you know what? There's not that much dissimilar, We need more Lisa Madigans, quite frankly, in the world. I don't mean to embarrass you, but we do. But unfortunately, there's quite a mixed bag out there, as you know.
So I have a colleague, I think he's no longer an attorney general from one of the southern states, and he likes to say that politics is the Hollywood for ugly people.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
that's a good one. Could we get you to sing a bar or two?
There's a man with taste.
Oh my God, my show is turning into the Jerry Springer show. Wait a minute.
Don't be angry with me, darling, if I fail to understand all your little whims and wishes all the time. Because this fork doesn't work.
Can I tell you, what a good sport. What a very, very good sport. So a tweet has just come in now for Jerry, so I'm going to let my social media director take it away. Allie, what do we have for Jerry?
From Mara Barr at Lovey and Rowe with underscores in between. What have you learned the most from your career?
And I'll just say she's won 2 tickets to see the Q Brothers at Chicago Shakes, so good for her. What have you learned most from your career?
Most of 99% of life is luck. And what I mean by that, I don't mean to disparage people that work hard. A lot of us work hard, but there are a lot of people who work hard that don't.
Yes.
Aren't lucky enough to have the success that I've had, for example. So it is luck. And when I say that and I see it every day, there's not one person in this room that had anything to do with the decision to be born, or to whom you'd be born, or in what era you'd be born, or to which parents, or in what health, or what kind of a brain. I could take Bill Gates, arguably one of the most successful people in America, period, or in the world. If he was born in Ethiopia, he would have been dead by the age of 5. Right. So this business that I made it on my own, why can't they, behave properly and do all this? Just give it up. We all have to admit when we're alone in our room and we're not putting on airs that, whoa, am I lucky? So luck is 99% of it. It's a gift from God. Now, the rest, you work real hard. And so when opportunities do come, you take advantage of it. But what I've learned is what I said before. We are all the same. We have all had moments in our life when you didn't marry a horse, but
hopefully
you've done something that and I'm not saying scandalous, you've just done something that if the rest of the world knew about, you'd kind of be embarrassed. We all have an uncle or somebody in our family, has a human being been born that couldn't be on my show? No.
No, right, I see what you mean.
No, now, 90, as we were saying backstage, 90% of America would never go on the show, me included. But that leaves 10% that would, and 10% of America's 32 million people. That's a lot of shows. So, but, you know, we ought to be thankful for what we have. Thank God for our good fortune. Work hard, be a nice person, and never get too full of yourself, because, you know, in the shower, we all look alike.
I'd love to hear this from you because, you know, one of the things that I do on this show is I love to bring people together, and usually I don't know my guests before they arrive. And I didn't really foresee that you might have such humility, and it's really wonderful to be around
I
that.
have a mirror. That's how you get humility.
A lot of people that I've really loved interviewing. I mentioned Meryl Streep earlier.
And why did you like, I can guess,
Well,
but I'm curious.
there are a couple people. The thing I liked about her is she's one of those people, she may have 50 interviews for television. You know, we do these television junkets,
Yes.
which I'm sure many of you see pieces of around the country, and they bring in reporters from all over, and you have literally 5 or 6 minutes with them. But with her, she acts like you're the only person she's talking to for the entire day. And there's a freshness and so forth. There are younger stars as well, and you know, Angelina Jolie is exactly the same way. She's so even-tempered and great in present, and it's terrific. One thing I'm finding is a lot of the younger actors today, whether it's Ryan Gosling or whoever, they're very intelligent. I mean, they're not just there because they've got pretty faces and they know how to look good in front of a camera. They're intelligent. They're picking roles that they want to play. Sure, they may be doing the big blockbuster thing, but there's a whole depth to them. Robert Downey Jr. is one of my favorites, and of course we've seen him go from the ups and downs,
right, yes.
and it's so great. I think largely, you know, his wife, who is from this area, Chicago, is largely credited, and he credits her with, you know, keeping him on the straight and narrow and dealing with his demons a day at a time, and he's done a great job with that. I will have to think about somebody that I think gets a bad rap that doesn't deserve it. But you have someone.
I was going to say,
and who would that be? Who would that be?
I'm sorry, I was just clearing my throat.
We should take, that was a good number. I'll be your straight man anytime.
What about you in politics? Do you feel that, I mean, was Blago as crazy as he really seemed?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. You know, he seemed like a complete lunatic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I refer to the time when he was governor as, you know, the Blagojevich reign of terror.
Yeah.
Because imagine, right? So for anybody in the audience who's a lawyer, he had actually directed the directors of state agencies and the general counsels that they weren't even allowed to talk to me. They weren't allowed to talk to our office. Well, by the way, everybody, my job is actually to represent the state of Illinois.
Yes.
So that doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? On any given day, I have 30,000 cases that I'm defending the state on. We seriously had to FOIA information
Oh my gosh.
to defend our clients in court. I mean, so beyond crazy.
Yes, yeah, no, well, just listening to those tapes. I mean, I have to say, I don't watch TMZ or any of that sort of stuff, but the Blagojevich tapes I thought were fascinating just for the content of swear words, the plethora, the breadth and width of what he was capable of getting out. I thought was really impressive. But I'm wondering if we've hit saturation. Chef, what do you think?
I think the danger I see is the lines getting blurred between the professional chef and the professional entertainer.
Yes.
And so I don't disagree at all. In fact, I think it's great for the culinary, not only the culinary scene, to have such a sort of bustling culture here in Chicago, but it's great that everyone's learning more about cooking, and it's raising the bar and it's pushing us to go higher and further. But I think there's a danger when everybody all of a sudden becomes an expert, or those chefs on TV who are not necessarily the best cooks but the best entertainers become something. It's a danger to those of us who have plied our trade in the kitchen, have come up through the ranks, or have done it in a more sort of steady, evolved away. And people are paying attention, and I think that people oftentimes don't know the difference between someone who's a great entertainer and someone who's a great cook.
Sure,
You can taste it.
Yeah, you can taste it, but on TV you taste with your eyes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, and most of the time the
other
food's
thing you
styled.
don't know is on TV, you don't know, especially with Food Network or whatever, you don't know about the 30 people that are behind the scenes
Making
who
it,
have
yeah.
made
Oh,
everything
if you
boom,
have
so
your
it looks
own
great.
kitchen, you
Yes,
know,
with
like-
30 people.
And I'll tell you the one danger that you may not know about as a TV watcher or as a food culture person is the damage it's done to the expectations of the young cook coming into the kitchen. You know, if it's, I suppose, akin to someone coming out of law school and expecting to become attorney general. We've got cooks coming out of culinary schools and expecting within 6 months to
be
a
a
year,
star.
they're going to get a coat with their name, a position, a responsibility that they just can't do.
I think the expectation problem that I have is that you watch shows and then I'm back in my kitchen, like, okay, so mac and cheese. You know, because I'm never, so if you go out to dinner, you have this lovely dinner, but I never have the time and I never have the kale. Not that I actually want to eat the kale, but sometimes it's very
There's
good.
some on your fork, but it's
It was
not-
delicious, but that's because you cooked it, right? Like I can't recreate that. So I have the expectation problem of you get accustomed to nice food and then I can't make it.
What kitchen ingredient, so not a utensil, but an ingredient, can you not live without?
What's the obvious answer? Salt,
Well, I hold up.
butter.
So I was going to say onions. You can't do anything without onions.
Garlic.
Garlic. That must be your husband. Is that your husband yelling garlic?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
okay.
You see, garlic,
Okay.
onions, yeah, onions are part of the aromatic trinity, the onion, carrot,
Sure.
and celery in the French kitchen.
Sure.
Garlic, on the other hand, is very Italian.
Yay!
If I had to live without garlic in my kitchen, it would not be that difficult because I cook, you know, I'm trained classically in the French style, and we just don't use that much garlic. If we do, it's rarely used in a sort of forward way. We tend to blanch it 2 or 3 times to get rid of the strength that you guys all adore.
Oh, I'm on your side. I hate garlic.
You don't like garlic?
I hate garlic and communism.
In which order?
Do they go hand in hand?
So you saw on the greens that you had tonight on the pork plate how I use garlic. I
You did.
rubbed the garlic in the bowl and I threw it out. That's how we use garlic in the Italian kitchen or some other
It's a
culture. They would
sin.
chop the garlic and put
Yes.
it in the kale, and you guys would stink.
You're going. You're
You'd be
going
happy,
to
but
hell.
you'd stink.
So I have a question for the rest of you because you probably cook. Lisa maybe does not.
No, I do.
You do?
I wish I did it more.
Okay, so what is in your refrigerator? What ingredient in your kitchen will I always find?
Yogurt.
Ooh, okay. Very healthy, very healthy. Bill's got yogurt. What will I always find in your kitchen?
Salsa.
Yum. Yes, okay, good.
like
Girl
that.
after my own heart. What will I always find in your kitchen?
Well, in fairness, the best thing I make are reservations. but my wife does all the cooking, and I'm hopeless in the kitchen, and so my wife does all the cooking. We've been married 41 years, and God bless her, she can cook.
Oh, lucky you. Lucky you. Okay, so let me turn that question around then. Is there a food you can't live without?
Ice cream.
Yes. Okay, now we're talking, people. Now we're talking. What about you guys?
Oh no, kale.
It was really good.
What food can you guys not live without?
I want to be proper.
What can't I live without?
Yes.
You know what my favorite thing is that I get cravings for? Indian food.
Really?
Yeah. And I've even figured out how to make dal in a crock pot.
Oh, good for you.
Really?
That's interesting because as much as I like Indian food, it's not something I would ever crave.
Oh, I love it.
I love Indian food too.
That's bizarre. What else would you can't live without, Bill?
Two very different things, and one I don't make, one I can make. One would be sushi, and the other would be any kind of pasta.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, wait, I have a tweet for... Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Oh, thanks for asking.
Let's ask the chef.
Well, I thought we had said the Holy Trinity, and then we had said
that was a
onions.
different
and we said,
question.
okay, all right.
Peanuts in the shell and potato chips.
I love peanuts in the
Okay,
shell.
thank you.
Okay, but wait a minute. Do you eat the peanuts in the shell, but the shell as well? Or you just like them in the shell so you can crack them?
He cracks them open.
Well, you take them out of the shell.
Every once in a
I
while.
think when I was 8, I
as a
ate the
kid,
whole thing.
yeah.
Okay, I still like to eat the shell. I like to eat the shell. But I like to eat the shell if I'm at a baseball game. I want to thank all of you for coming. Your energy just means the world. It really makes the show so much fun. My name is Elysabeth Alfano. Thank you for coming tonight.